Hey, what's good? Welcome back to Papercut. Today we're going to be talking about how you can use OBS to record yourself. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop in and check it out. Okay, so we're going to knock this out in 4 steps. Step 1, we're going to go out and download OBS. Step 2, we'll install it. Step 3, we'll talk about setup concerning what scenes are. How do you actually set up a video device, and how can you go about setting up a mic? Step 4, we'll go ahead and record ourselves playing something like Rocket League, and then we'll go ahead and view the playback. Step 1, let's go download OBS. Go ahead and open up the browser of your choice, and in that search engine, type in OBS. The site you're looking for is this one right here. Once you've found it, go ahead and select it. Choose the operating system of your choice, and the download will begin. It's about 100 meg. Once it's downloaded, we can begin the install. Alright, now that the file is downloaded, we can go ahead and begin the install. You can do that by selecting the installer here, or if you accidentally close the browser, you can open up a file explorer and navigate to downloads, and there you should see the OBS Studio installer. Double click it to go ahead and start the install, and Windows will ask you for permission. Go ahead and say yes. Go ahead and close the file explorer and let's begin the install. Now, unfortunately, I am running OBS in the background, so when I choose the next button, it notifies me of that and it asks me to close OBS before I can continue. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to walk you through the install here, but I will walk you through the steps of what's going to occur. The first thing that's going to happen is it's going to ask you to read the user agreement. So go ahead and read through that and agree if you do agree to the terms. The next step is it's going to confirm where you actually want to store OBS, the actual file location. If it's different from what's on the screen, go ahead and change it. The last step is actually choosing the components that will be installed. This is completely up to you. I left it as default and I hit install. So let's move on to the third step, which is setup. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is run through some settings. So click on File and go into Settings. Now, I'm using a dark profile theme. If you would like a lighter one, just leave it on default. After that, go ahead and hop into the Output tab and make sure your output mode is on Advanced. Once you've confirmed that, head over to the Recording tab. Make sure your type is on Standard. Choose your recording path. Make sure your recording format is set to MP4 and that you have at least one audio track selected. I leave my encoder on as Use Stream Encoder, and I do not actually rescale, but if you wanted to, make sure you check this box and actually set the rescale output. After that, let's go ahead and hop over to the Audio tab. On the Audio tab, what we're doing is confirming our sample rate. If you don't know your sample rate, head down to your taskbar and just right-click on your speaker and go into Playback Devices. Under Playback Devices, go down to the device that's being used, right-click on that and go to Properties. Under Properties, go to the Advanced tab, and that's where you actually can see your default format. Just make sure that this matches what you're using in OBS. From here, head over to the Video tab. On the Video tab, just confirm that your base canvas matches that of your monitor's resolution or that you want to record in. Check your output. You can see now why I did not rescale. Downscale filter I leave as bicubic, and my FPS or common FPS values I leave as 30. That's it. Go ahead and hit OK, and we're good. Alright, before we actually set up a video capture device and an audio device, let's just take a little tour of OBS. So the first thing that you're seeing here is Scenes. Scenes allows you to control the different media and capture devices that you're using, either when you're recording or when you're streaming. Next, what we have is Sources. These are the audio and video capture devices and other media that we're using while recording or while streaming. From here we have the mixer. This is going to allow us to control the audio levels of these capture devices. As you can see, I can use the slider to adjust the volume of my Yeti. You can also click on this gear, which we'll do here in a second, which allows you to set different filters or adjust the properties of these devices as well. Next, you have scene transitions, not too important today, but vital when you're actually running through streaming. And then your controls, where we'll start and stop the recording, as well as we can access settings. So let's hop back to Scenes. If you don't have a scene, just go ahead and click on this plus button to add a new scene. Label the scene whatever you would like to label it and click OK. So from here, let's go ahead and add a source to our scene. So I'm going to go ahead and add this again by clicking on the plus sign and go ahead and say display capture. Now use an existing display capture if you already have OBS installed. Otherwise, leave it on create new and label your display capture device. Go ahead and hit OK. And we can see instantly we get this repeating video over and over again because I'm showing it while recording. Choose your display, and then if you want your cursor to be displayed, leave this as checked. Otherwise, uncheck the box and hit OK. Let's go ahead and hide this by going over to the eye and just clicking on it. From here, let's go ahead and add an audio device. Repeat the process by clicking on the plus sign. This time, all we're going to do is go audio input capture. Use an existing audio device, or once again, leave it on create new and label the audio device and hit OK. Choose the audio device that you're going to use. I'll use the Yeti and hit OK. Okay, so we can see that it's capturing the audio below. Once again, we can use the slider to adjust the volume, and we can either click on this gear or we can right click on the audio device and go into filters. Now, filters allow you to add in different filters on your audio device, things like compression, things like noise suppression, to give you a cleaner, richer sound. For example, if I were to actually close this and add another device, and this time choose my Yeti, and right click and go to filters, you can see I have 3 filters on my Yeti. I have a compressor, I have a noise suppression, and I have noise gate. To remove a source, just hit the minus button. Alright, so that's scenes and sources and the mixer. We talked a little bit about scene transition. We're not going to be using this today because we're just recording, and we talked about the controls. Next thing, let's test it. Alright, so from here we'll go ahead and test this. We'll do that by just opening Rocket League, record ourselves messing around in Rocket League for a second, then we'll go ahead and view the recording. Now remember, before you do this, make sure that you're enabling the display capture device that we actually disabled earlier. Otherwise, you're just going to get a black screen when you recorded. Believe me, I just did it 3 times. So, enable. Go ahead and hop out of OBS. Open up your game. Go ahead and mess around for a second. When you're done recording, depending on your screen settings inside the game, you might have to Alt-Tab. Otherwise, you can pull up your mouse and minimize the game itself. Go down into OBS and obviously stop the recording. Alright everyone, so that's it. Remember that file path that you put in settings? That's where your video is actually being stored. Mine's directly on my desktop, and before I minimize OBS and launch that video for your viewing pleasure, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you right now. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please like it, thumbs up, subscribe. Get y'all next time.